And I think we're live. So, yo. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. My name is Mitchell. If you're new here, and today's episode, I'll be talking about falling in love versus staying in love. And I'm pretty sure you guys are a little familiar with this topic. If you're not, feel free to ask questions in a comment below. This is a live. And if you're watching this on a rerun, leave a comment down below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you like it. Now, I do these YouTube lives every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I always recap with an episode, which is freedom is vital to love and attraction. So if you guys are ever interested in this topic, you guys can go back to my live videos. It's all there, okay? And the slide is gonna be on what is freedom. What is freedom? Now, freedom is allowing them to come and go as they please, while setting and enforcing healthy boundaries. It's more of a stoic type of approach, and it's not that you don't care. It's being indifferent about it. It's being comfortable with yourself so that you're okay whether or not they are in your life or they're not a part of your life. But it's not like you don't care, okay? So anyways, freedom is your compelling reason not to message her first of where she's at, because at the expense of your insecurity, jealousy, or anxiousness. Instead, having a good relationship with jealousy, for example, it's like most people, they tend to message their significant other, their partners, because of insecurity, jealousy, or just being anxious. But instead, if you're coming from a place of strength and because you really genuinely care, it's like, yeah, where are you right now? Okay, let me know when you're gonna be home, etc. That's okay. So coming from a place of strength versus coming from a place of weakness, and it's very important to separate that difference, because people could tell through your words and your tone and how you approach it. It all comes out through your demeanor. Now, so how do I get to have a better relationship with, say, for example, jealousy, right? And because everybody at some point gets jealous at one point, but it's how you respond to that, or how other people react to that. And at one point in my life, I used to be a jealous person. It's not what I've said to myself, it's what I decided to change and no longer want to be that type of person anymore. And a lot of it came from having a lot of self-respect for myself. And it's because it's so that if I don't feel like, hey, you know what? If this person, let's just say, for example, if this person violates certain values that I value, then it's like, okay, then it is what it is. And if jealousy is part of that, then guess what? It's gonna run my life. I personally decided, look, I'm not gonna let jealousy run my life. I'm gonna be the one in control of that. And so that being said, I was in total control. I don't get obsessed. I don't get obsessive. I don't get mad or jealous. If that person violates or betrays my trust or things like that, well, guess what? That person is no longer gonna be in my life. So that's a small example. All right. So I want to be around someone I can trust, not someone where I feel like, damn, I have to keep my eyes open all the time. Can I trust this person, right? And the main question is to myself is, do I possess that as well? I am a student, and you become rich. Fall in love with what you do. Become great at it. Become obsessed with what you want to do. You only become better at what you do when you want to do that thing. So focusing on making money, well, you're not going to have a lot of drive if money is your main thing. So what you love to do comes first, money will come after. Okay? That's my suggestion. Other people might have different principles, different values, but I'm just giving you my personal opinion. Okay. So, like I said, I want to be someone I can trust. Main question is, do I possess that? What's good, Chevelin? Long time no see. It's always good to have you here. Trusting the other person, having a sense of self-worth, having a sense of who I am, what What change is I became a more confident person. And because I became a more confident person within myself, I no longer feel like, damn, I don't have anybody else. What's good? Doreen, stay away from people who seem untrustworthy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Jealousy isn't how we react to what the other person does. It's how we feel about ourselves. It's really how you feel about yourself. That changes how we react or respond about what the other person does. Okay, so it's really all about ourselves. Hello? Hey, Shevlin. Okay, because freedom displays strength. So if you're allowing them to come and go as they please, being indifferent without, and like I said, it's not that you don't care. It's that you allow them to come and go as they please because you love them. You trust them. You trust enough that they will do the right thing. And if they ever decide to betray that type of trust, well, guess what? You're still a person of value. And a person with value will always be in the market. They will be in the market, and if you're ever looking for a relationship, you will be out the market really quick. Okay, you're in other words, you're highly sought after. Okay, it shows that you're emotionally regulated, you're strong-minded, certain, you aren't busy thinking about her all day, meaning that you're a guy, you're a masculine person, you have your own purpose, you have your own mission. That's the only thing that you're going after. And also, whenever she does contact you, you're like, yeah, I'd love to see you, I'd love to spend time with you. Because why? Love is freedom, and you allow them to come and go as they please. And once they want to see you, why not? You love seeing that person, so absolutely. And I think you should. Now, the intro to our topic today, okay? Falling in love versus staying in love, right? And for most people, falling in love, usually it seems to just happen. It's really easy. It just seems to happen, right? It feels like everything falls into place at the right place at the right time. And most would even say, look, I wasn't even looking for a relationship. I wasn't even looking for anybody. It just so happened that this person walked up and said this and that, and then we just clicked really well. That's usually the whole falling in love experience. But for many other people, staying in love or preserving this quote unquote head over heels experience requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of commitment, understanding of each other's needs and wants. Your world doesn't evolve with that person. What do you mean by that? Well, you mean revolve around that person, right? I think that's what you mean. So a happy, healthy, romantic relationship can help you feel supported and preserve happiness in your life. That's having the right person in your life. I can't stress it enough. Being with someone that does not support what you do is like banging your head against the wall every single morning. It's like every morning, the moment you wake up, you just bang your head. Why? Because that person just does not support you. It's like, it's a horrible feeling to have. It's a horrible feeling. And if you ever feel like you're in that type of situation, that is a clear sign that you should not be in that relationship. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Chevlin. I think what you're also saying is too is, you should have your own identity as a person when you're in a relationship. Okay. So next bullet point is relationship will go through ups and downs. It's challenges when you're in love, but when you're in love though, the other person seems like they could do no wrong. They can't do anything wrong. And looking at the relationship through rose-colored glasses. And what we would call this the honeymoon phase. Honeymoon phase usually lasts between 6 to 12 months. What's up, Bree? We got some OGs in here. We got Bree and Chevlin. What's up? So, relationship goes through up and downs, right? Like I said, if you're in love with this person, that person seems like they could do no wrong. And you're always looking at it through rose-colored glasses. But as a relationship progresses through time, your rose-colored glasses begin to lose its tint. It begins to lose its tint. Problem seems to be a little bit more exposed, a little bit more evident. Like you can see it. Or even like minor things becomes big problems, right? At this point, it's very important, it's critical to understand like what are your values? What do you personally value? What are your core values? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? So that you can help navigate properly through your relationship. And a lot of people, what most people like to do is once they feel like they don't want to talk about it anymore, or hoping that the other person forgets that type of conversation, that's not really fixing a problem. It's just ignoring problems. No different than sweeping it underneath the rug. And if you sweep enough shit underneath the rug, eventually you're gonna start tripping over it, right? So you want to be careful. Now, by taking steps now so that you can preserve and rekindle your quote unquote falling in love type of experience, it is possible you could build a meaningful relationship that could last a very, very long time, if not a lifetime. Okay, so now I would like to talk about abuse. Mental, physical, emotional, you name it. It seems to happen pretty often in relationships, especially as time progresses, especially when you feel like you're a little bit more comfortable with the person that you're around, right? It's easy. In the beginning, you're like, damn, I don't even want to pass gas because I don't want the other person to think of me like ill. Next thing you know, you're just walking around in like boxers and just letting loose, right? Like, you're getting too comfortable. You might get complacent, and everybody gets comfortable and complacent at some time. But it's very important to understand that you don't want to get so comfortable where you lose yourself. Okay? Now, getting too comfortable starts to reveal who you are as a person, your character. Now, relationship abuse happens to 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men. So the probability of being in an abusive relationship for women is a little bit higher than it is for a man. It's important to understand that it's not how a relationship starts that really matters. It's how a relationship evolves. Now, the relationship on how you really say that again. The relationship of how you are going to evolve in that relationship, it's really important to understand who you are as a person, because whoever you are, that's what's gonna bleed out into the relationship. So if you're an angry, frustrated person majority of the time, guess what's gonna be permeated through your relationship? Just imagine. Okay. Now, a lot of people could hide who they are for the first 90 days. That's where most people have no problem presenting their best self. But like I said, as the relationship progresses and it evolves, a person's quote unquote true colors starts to reveal, right? In a healthy, loving relationship, words are used as encouragement and support. You want a good support system in your life, especially your partner. So an example would be like, say for example, he goes and asks you, hey, I'd love to take you out on a date. And she responds, hey, I have a lot of work right now, but can we do it this weekend? And he responds like, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I'd love to see you. How Saturday, how Sunday, or Friday night? And then you set up a date. You're not possessive. You're not forceful. You allow them to come and go as they please. You're allowing her. She just tells you, hey, I'm a little bit busy right now. I just can't do it right now, but I'll still love to see you during the weekend. That's great. Now, in an unhealthy relationship, words are used as weapons. Your words are used as weapons. So an example is, I want to take you out on a date. And this is assuming that they've been together for a bit. Or let's have a date. We haven't had a date in a long time. Let's have a date. Or I want to take you out on a date. And it's coming from a good place. Or at least I hope it is. And she responds, I have lots of work. Same response. I have lots of work right now. But can we do it this weekend? And then he responds with, you never want to go anywhere. You always want to focus on your work. Do you even care about this relationship? That is not a healthy way of responding to the relationship. And a lot of that anger, frustration is coming from what he's lacking and what he's not receiving. And at that moment, when a person responds like that, it's the beginning of the end of the relationship, meaning that you're only focusing on yourself. And that is not a relationship. A relationship takes two. So, mental and emotional abuse occurs more often than you think. And when your partner projects an unreasonable expectation, this is what you should do. You must respond like this, or you must do the following. So like that example, I have lots of work right now, but can we do this weekend? He responds, you never want to do this. You always do this, or do you even care about this relationship, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of projection, right? So you must respond with, it's not very loving when you yell at me. It's not very loving when you yell at me. It's not that I don't want to go on a date with you. I just can't do it right now. Please don't yell. Hello, Rehab. Please don't yell, because if you continue to yell, I can't promise you I will stay in an unhealthy relationship. And this is not an ultimatum. You're just letting them know these are your boundaries. Don't yell at me. This is not what I signed up for. I signed up for a happy, healthy relationship. And right now you're not giving me that, basically. So the main idea here is to remain calm, is to not overreact, cool, calm, and collected, while setting and enforcing healthy boundaries. Now, the ball is on their court. How they respond to that or react to it next is no longer in your control. You have zero control how they're going to respond or react to it. And if they continue to violate your boundaries, you will give them the gift of missing you. I'm out. You could walk away. I don't need to, basically you're saying I don't need to stay in an unhealthy relationship because you signed up for a good, happy, healthy relationship. And we all understand that relationship goes through challenges. It goes through ups and downs. And it's important to understand which part of that relationship you're in. The dating, the courting is very important. So understanding that is going to be critical for your relationship to progress and flourish. Now, slide number 3 is prevention and how to love. How do you love? How do you love? If you know, how many people in here knows how to love? How many people in here knows how to love? And what does that look like to you? I'm curious. Leave it in a comment below, all right? Now, prevention and how to love. It's surprising how a lot of people, right? It's surprising how love and relationships are so important in everybody's lives. But it's interesting how most people aren't taught how to love, because we were never taught this in school. No one teaches you how to love. But as a human being, we crave love and attention, especially from the person that we love. Now, because we were never taught it, and then you expect to get into this relationship and let everything kind of fall into its place, like that's not how it works. Now, unless you were lucky enough to be in an environment where your mom and dad are very loving, you're the man of the house, the masculine figure, he's very masculine, and I will get into that a little bit later about masculine and feminine energy. And he's the leader of the relationship. He's not a controlling leader. He's not a tyrant. He's the leader. He's not going to take shit. He's not going to lose his shit. He knows where he sets his foot down, and it allows her, which is, the mom, to feel safe and comfortable to open up. And that's how your child's going to view that relationship. And if they view your relationship like that, where the man's the masculine man and the woman is feminine, what he or she's gonna go out to this world and be like, well, this is how my dad taught me never to take shit from other men. Or if you're a guy, it's like, well, he taught me to be calm and to be respectful and to love. And love is allowing. Love is about giving. Love is never forceful. Things like that. So now, many couples only focus on their relationship when there's a problem. They only focus on the relationship when there's a problem. Then once the problem seems to no longer become an issue anymore, they kind of switch their attention back to whatever they were doing. And they revert back to who they once were. So that's not called changing. It's you're not really doing anything. You just kind of like, it's no longer a problem. But the problem is going to come back if you don't fix it. You know what I mean? It's like putting a Band-Aid on something. It's not going to fix something. You have to find a solution towards this problem. That's how you fix an issue. Now, problems will always happen. It's just how well you find a solution. It's how well you could take care of that problem. That's what's going to make your relationship flourish, whether it's with yourself or with another person. And the more you work on it yourself, the better you become. The less likely you will tolerate other people's disrespect too as well. So it only makes you become a better person. Now, romantic relationship requires quality time and attention. Attention to yourself and to your significant other, because you can't ignore that person. That's not love. And the last thing you ever want in a relationship, and I've seen this so many times, it's where that other person feels like I need to punish this other person because they didn't give me what I wanted. And so I'm gonna punish this person by stonewalling them, by not talking to them, by ignoring them. It's like, that's not love. That's about yourself. And whenever the relationship is about yourself, like I said, it's the beginning of the end of the relationship. So say goodbye to it. No one do us about the Shaw element. I'm not sure what you're saying. Is it Aubrey or Baker? I'm gonna call you Baker. Now, let's talk about women for now. Okay, so if you're a guy and you're watching this, women vote with their feet. They vote with their feet. Now, as a man, you should always judge your lady's romantic interest based off her actions and what she does. Okay? Actions won't lie, but people can. People can lie, but actions won't. And how you could kind of judge that is she becoming a little bit distant? Is she very loving? Like, what is she doing? What have you noticed in that relationship? Does she seem to not want your attention anymore? Because if you think about it, women that are head over heels in love with you, first of all, they're not gonna leave you. They won't break up with you. They want and when a woman's in love with you, they want your attention all the time. They want you all the time. They want you all to themselves. And that's what and then you gotta find a healthy balance. It's like, well, is this becoming a little bit too possessive, or is she just really wants my time? She just really wants my time. What is it? And you have to have a healthy way of gauging that. Now, a key to preventing a relationship from falling apart is knowing who you are as a person. Who are you as a person? And not to lose yourself in that relationship. Because a lot of people, when they get into the relationship, they tend to lose themselves in the relationship. They no longer say, this is who I am. More likely than not, and it sounds cute, but you might hear them say, oh, he or she is my other half, right? That person is my other half. It's like, well, who are you as a whole? That's my question. Who are you as a whole? Because that is what's going to maintain a happy, healthy relationship. It's knowing who you are and then aligning those values with the right person. That is how you have a happy, healthy, successful relationship. Most men won't work on themselves in a relationship, but have no problems signing a divorce paper or seeing a lawyer. They have no problem doing so, right? And it's like, why? Why don't you learn the skills of attraction and how to attract your wife or your girlfriend or your fiance or whatever it is? Learn how to attract them. Learn what attraction is. That's key. Knowing how to lead as a masculine man, that is how you become the most attractive self. Not only just to her, but to other people as well. Now, are you gonna divert your attention to other people? I hope you don't, because you're in a committed, happy, healthy relationship. And that's what someone with integrity would do. Good morals. So it's like, well, if you signed up for an exclusive relationship, meaning monogamy, you're not going to see anybody else. It's like, well, you just can't help, because attraction is not a choice. You don't get a choice on whether or not people like you or not, but you do have a choice on whether or not you act on those type of temptations. Just put that out there, right? So as long as the health of your romantic relationship remains important to you, it's going to require a lot of attention and effort. That's what it is. It's going to you're going to need to focus on it. Whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you focus on expands. So if you're like, hey, you know what, my finances isn't where I want it to be right now, then you could do better on that. Now, if you want your relationship to become better, you have to focus on that. And if you're a man, and if you're a masculine man, you have to understand what masculinity is. And right now, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there on how to become a masculine man. There's a lot. So you have to choose whether or not this is the right one for you. You have to choose that. Nobody's going to choose it for you. You have to choose it yourself. And if you see great results, then they keep it. But if you don't, then maybe you're doing something different, or maybe you're not doing things differently enough. That's how you create different type of results. So identifying and fixing small problems in your relationship now can often help prevent it from growing into much bigger ones down the road. Because like I said, love is giving, love is allowing them to come and go as they please. It is never forceful. Also, very important to understand that in a relationship, you have to set and enforce healthy boundaries, because if you don't, and you let people walk all over you, whatever you tolerate, you invite more of it. So be careful with that. Okay. Understanding attraction. And that's the last one. And for this, mainly for the men out there, mainly for the men. And ladies, if you're watching this and you're listening to this, let me know if you agree. Okay. Understanding attraction. So men who understands women, you don't argue with them. You never win in an argument. You might win a fight. You don't win. You don't win. You don't win. Even if you do win that fight, she's still going to be pissed off. You're not going to really get what you wanted. So what are you really winning in that relationship? So men who understands women, don't argue with them. Like I said, though, it is easier said than done. But the more you don't lose your shit, and the better you become in not taking shit from other people, the more grounded and centered you become as a person, as a man, as a masculine figure that could control your own emotions and lead. Because a man that has zero control over his own emotion is not a person that you want leading you. That's not what a feminine woman is attracted to. If you can't lead yourself and your own emotions, what makes you think she's gonna feel safe and comfortable to open up, to understand, like, this is a man that I trust that could lead this relationship? She's not gonna feel safe and comfortable. So guess what happens when she doesn't feel safe and comfortable? She's gonna close up mentally. And guess what happens when she closes up mentally? Everything closes up, if you know what I mean. All right, so you ain't gonna get no access to the box. And then you complain, and then things out, infidelity might happen because, oh my God, if she would. But if you just respected yourself enough and you built yourself up, she is going to be head over heels in love with you. She's gonna want it more than you could ever even give. She's gonna want you all the time. Like I said, when a woman's in love with you, she's gonna want your attention all the time. She's gonna want you all the time. Okay, this is how she's gonna feel your strength. So you become this main character, and you're now in control of your own novel, basically. Okay, a healthy relationship, though, now they're not lucky. Okay, just like how success is, you're just not lucky. Now, when you yell, when you scream, and you argue, you take everything out of you, and you basically put like the demon in the room. It doesn't solve anything. And although it might feel better, this whole feeling of letting out this anger feels better. This feeling better is an illusion, and it might trick you enough to let go of some sort of anger, but this anger doesn't really solve anything, especially when you're yelling at the other person. Now, if you just need to release some anger, maybe you screaming into a pillow or something, sure, do it privately. Okay, do that. Do what you got to do. Okay, but yelling and screaming at the other person because you don't get what you want, and you don't get what you thought was expected, that's not gonna solve a problem. So like I said, although it might feel like it's better, this feel better type of feeling is just an illusion. So even if it feels like it's in your favor right now, you're not gonna force her to love you. That's not how love works. Okay. So it's gentle. It's very gentle. Okay. It's very gentle. So the best way to have your lady fall back in love with you now, on the other hand, is understanding where you went wrong. It's understanding, and that's being vulnerable. Okay. There's a difference between being vulnerable and being weak. I said this many times. Understanding where you went wrong, knowing that you're a person and no one's perfect, but being able to find a solution. You'd be like, yo, this is where I went wrong. I should not have yelled. Look, it happened to me. It happens to the best of us. I lost my shit once and I wasn't proud of it. And it happened recently too. Within the last month, I lost my shit. Completely lost it. I wasn't happy about it. I reflected on it. I was like, damn, Mitchell, like you knew better than that. But it also shows me that I was human and that I'm not perfect and I make mistakes and that's okay. But I was like, yo, you're better than this, Mitchell. Like, it pushed you to the limit. Why? I started asking myself, why? Why did I lose my shit? And because behind anger is always fear. So I knew that I was fearful of something. And whatever I was fearful of at that time, I had to overcome that. That's how I found a better solution so that I no longer want to lose my shit. Now, can I promise you I won't lose my shit? I can't promise that. I can't promise it even for myself. But what I would try to do is I will always try to become a better person for myself so that the rest of the people around me will feel safe and comfortable. They're like, damn, Mitchell just doesn't lose his shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of person, that's the type of legacy I will like from other people. Because, like I said, everybody has one destination. Everybody has one destination. You can't take everything with you, but what you can leave is a legacy of who you are, your character, right? Your core values, what people believe in. These are things that will last forever, okay? Now, like I said, the best way to have your lady fall back in love with you is understanding where you went wrong. So more often than not, the reason why she became turned off by you is because you stopped becoming the masculine figure in the relationship. Now, this is assuming that she's a feminine woman, okay? And that's her natural essence. More often than not, it's because you stopped becoming the leader of the relationship. Like I said, you started becoming more argumentative. You're bitching, you're complaining. Maybe you became this pushover where she feels like she doesn't respect you anymore. And where love goes, where respect goes, love follows. So if she respects you, she could love you. She could love you. If she respects you, she could love you. But if there's no respect, absolutely there's no love from her, because she can't see you as a leader in a relationship. So bitching, complaining, being needy, obsessive, where are you? How come you didn't call me back? All these type of behaviors, it displays insecurity, right? And usually there's traits of men when they're insecure, they jealous, they feel like other men is trying to like steal the woman. It's like, look, if you feel like you gotta catch beauty, especially from other guys, when they see your lady walking down the street or whatever, or maybe even on social media, they're gonna try to holler at her. You have to just trust yourself enough and trust your vetting process that, hey, you know what? I got a good woman. She's not gonna be promiscuous. She's not going to go out there and try to get attention from other guys. And if she does, then guess what? You're gonna give her the gift of missing you. But if you do trust her enough, and she's an adult, I'm assuming you're dating in an adult age, and if not, let them be. This is who they are. You can't change their character. Question: how about if a man wants you to change? Question: how about if a man wants you to change yourself into the person you're not? A man wants you to change. What do you mean by that? Could you elaborate that on that a little bit more? Bree, you said, to be honest, what are you doing wrong when you act like that? When you act like what? When you act like what? And I love these questions because it gets me to interact with you, and I love answering questions. So I do have just a few more points before I close off. To be honest, what are you doing wrong? To be honest, what are you doing wrong when you act like that, like insecure? Where where are you? When you act insecure, like what is wrong with that? Well, insecurity is also believing that you're not worthy enough. It's the story that you constantly tell yourself. So if you feel like, okay, jealousy happens to everybody. It's like, damn, like who wants to feel like they feel like they could lose that person? But if you love and value yourself and you feel like and you deem yourself as a catch, and you're like, you know what? I trust her. I trust that she would do the right thing. That if other men try to get at her, well, guess what? She's gonna do the right thing. I trust her to do the right thing by not entertaining, by shutting them down, by letting them know that, hey, I have a boyfriend, or I'm in a relationship. I respect it. Nobody could turn down a compliment, right? It's like, hey, it's nice that you get a compliment. So, who are you with? Where are you? Who are you with? Calling multiple times. I mean, are you doing wrong as a partner when you do these things I said above? For example, hanging out with your girlfriends. Uh, like, like you're just a laid back person. Absolutely, yeah. You're eating out with them. Okay, hold on. Let me reread that again, Bree. So, to be honest, what are you doing wrong when you act like that? Excuse me. What are you doing wrong when you act like that? Insecurity. Where are you, like the insecurities? Like, where are you? Like, who are you hanging with? You communicate, but still blowing up her phone. You're but still blowing up her phone. So it depends on where it's coming from, right? So for example, if I know I'm getting butt hurt because you told them you're hanging out, yeah, that's a difference. So it's like this. I think you could separate it. Let me collect my thoughts. So for example, let's just say my lady, my girl, tells me that, hey, I'm gonna go out with some of my girlfriends. We're gonna have some brunch or whatever, right? And then let's just say she tells me like, oh, I'll be back by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And 4 o'clock comes by, and you're like, hey, baby, where are you? Now, an insecure man would be like, where are you? Because he's playing like a certain story, like, oh, she might be out with, a little bit, she might be out with another guy, right? And that type of energy is gonna come off very possessive. Like, where are you? You told me you're gonna be back at 3, and now it's 4 o'clock. How come you're not home? Like, where are you? That's being controlling. That's being controlling. Now, if it's 4 o'clock and you told me that you're gonna be home at 4 o'clock, excuse me, and I'm calling you, I'm like, hey, I'm not blowing up your phone. I mean, the moment I call you, you got my message. And if I text you, you got my text message, right? And if I call you, I'll be like, hey, babe, like, where are you? Are you okay? It's like, you told me you're gonna be home at 3 and it's 4. Like, is everything okay? You're like, yeah, it just extended a little bit. And I may also be a little bit drunk, so I don't want to. Well, do you want me to pick you up or call you Uber or something? I just want to make sure you're safe because you told me it's 3. But if you're okay, go have some fun. Have fun with your friends. All right, love you, bye. You see that difference? The difference is I need you back because I think you're doing something bad behind my back versus, and that's coming from a place of weakness. That's the difference. Coming from a place of strength, it's like, no, I just want to make sure you're okay. You told me 3. I just, it's 4. Like, are you okay? And if you're okay, then, no problem. Boom. I love you. Have fun. That's the difference. Getting butthurt because you told them that you're bored. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's okay. Yeah, so that's the difference. And so whenever I'm explaining things coming from a place of strength versus coming from a place of weakness, that's what I'm explaining. That's and that comes off in your demeanor, in your voice, in your tone. Like you could hear all of that. You know what I'm saying? I would have a better reaction if that was being said. Absolutely. And that's now. So if I'm okay, let's just say I was the first guy. I was the insecure. I need you home. You told me 3. I let you out, and now you're violating that. It's no longer 3 o'clock. It's 4. Where the f are you right now? Where are you? That's possessive. That feels like you're being forced. It's like, oh, you lied to me, and it's and all of that comes from being insecure within myself, and that comes out into that relationship. And so when you're in a relationship, it is important to work on yourself before you even get into that relationship, to understand like, hey, maybe I'm a jealous and insecure guy, but you have to ask yourself, why am I insecure? Well, I'm insecure because I feel like I don't deserve to be with this woman in front of me. And well, then you have to ask yourself why. Well, she's too pretty, or she's too whatever. And that's okay, right? Because at one point it came across my mind. I was like, damn, she's too good for me. But then it's like, well, then my question to myself was, well, how can I build myself up to be the person I want to become? And because in the beginning I wasn't aware of like, oh, these are things that I could work on for myself, I didn't know where to start. But then once I started, I found the right coach, I found the right person, I found the right mentor, taught me, hey, look, Mitchell, this is how you operate. You operate from a place of strength, and where you're not becoming possessive. You love them for who they are. You understand that when you get with this person, you're not trying to change that person. And if that person does not align with your goals and values, then maybe that's not the right person for you. And that's okay, because you know what? Life is about experiences. It's about trial and error, right? And by doing so, I'm like, look, I need to work on myself physically. So I got to build myself up. As a man, I got to build myself up. Mentally, I need to be mentally grounded. Why? Because a man that can't be grounded with himself, no one's going to want to trust him. How can he lead? How can you lead? And so emotionally, if I was emotionally all over the place, I remember, oh, this is embarrassing. I remember my ex, she would be like, oh, hey, let's go get some drinks or boba or whatever at 7 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm getting ready. 7 o'clock comes by. She's like, I don't really want to do it anymore. I don't feel like it. And that gets me like, boom. And I'm like, I got ready. So it's about me again. I got ready. I wanted to do this and I want to do that. And I've been planning this drink in my head, this boba drink or this whatever drink. And I want it, and it's all about me. And so because she no longer wanted to do it and I was like excited about it, it made me upset. It made me lose my center. It made me lose strength within myself. And I just became this bitch. And I just complain and moan, and it doesn't solve anything. Now, in reality, what I should have responded with is like, well, hey, babe, it's 7 o'clock. Let's get ready. Or I'm already ready. Come on, let's go. And she's like, well, I don't want to do it anymore. And then be like, oh, well, that's fine. Because I already made up my mind, right? I'm like, that's fine. Then I'll go get a drink. I'm going to go get a drink. Love you, though. Love you. I'm going to go get a drink. Okay, well, can you get one for me, too? If you wanted, you could come with me. You could get your beautiful ass in that dress and come. But if you don't want to, it's fine. You can sit here, look beautiful as you do, and not be bothered by that. So the main thing is to not be bothered by her fluctuating emotions, right? It's like getting mad at a sun for not coming out. It's like, why is it raining? It started raining earlier, right? Imagine I got mad at the sun and start yelling at the sky. Okay, that's how I see it in a relationship. When you start losing your shit as a guy, how come? Where the sun at? Where the sun at? I don't want this rain. It's an inconvenience. My tires might skid. I could think of a million excuses, right? So, hold on, Bree, you said, and it shouldn't be that way. Okay. Or like he says, you didn't tell me you were hanging out with them after. You said it multiple times verbally, and have written it down. My Well, okay. Now, if you had plans ahead of time, and he's like, "Well, you didn't tell me about this. I wish you would have told me. That way, I wouldn't have, scheduled this plan, or we could have at least postponed this plan." Then weeks in advance. Wait, okay. Well, like he says, you didn't tell me you were hanging out with them. Or maybe he forgot, right? It's like I don't know. What do you mean by have it written down? Augury, you said my ex-husband is like that, calling when I get home. He would blow the lid off or go alone and leave them just be. Yeah, absolutely. It's like okay, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. I'll go. I still want to drink. I'm gonna give myself a bubble drink. I can't wait to get my favorite drink. Oh, it's gonna be great. On a whiteboard. Oh, weeks in advance. Oh, like, now is this something that you agreed upon? Like, okay, if you have plans that you have to write down on a whiteboard so that I won't pre-plan on that same day where you're busy. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Now, this is what I would say. There are certain people out there that's just always angry about it. Angry at the world over something. They're always angry over something. And when they're angry about something, they need to let go of that frustration. And you're like, well, shit, I can't wait for Mitchell to come back home so I could, he didn't put away the dishes. He didn't do this. He didn't clean up. I'm gonna let him have it. There are some people out there that's just like, I can't wait to let go of my frustration on this person, because their energy is always about being angry. So like I said, like, a great audit for yourself is to think about it. Just think about the last entire 7 days, the last week, from the 24th, which is today, to the, go backwards to the 17th, and think, what were my primary emotions? What were the emotions that I had most of the time? Was I happy? Did I enjoy myself? Like, what was it? And then get an audit from that, like, because that will give you a general idea. Now, I'm not talking about you being on vacation, right? I'm talking about regular living, going to work, right? Because you don't want any type of outliers. So it's just like, well, what are my emotions for the past 7 days? And if you were in this mindset, or emotionally you were like, damn, like, I love myself, I love my life, I'm happy, I get to do what I do, I love my job, I love the people I'm with, and I can't really think of a better thing. Like, I have everything I wanted, and if I get more, absolutely, I'm still working towards who I want to be, and I'm working towards what I could become. I don't see any type of problem with that. But then, if you're, on the other hand, if your problems were like, if your emotions were like, well, I hate work, I hate what I do, people piss me off, they always make me angry, and basically you're saying that your environment sucks, what you do sucks, and you don't really love and value yourself, well, guess where your emotions is gonna be? Like, I don't even need to know you to understand how you're going to be seeing the world. You know what I mean? It's like, if I just tell you or ask you, on the other side of this cloth, or this door, there's this person that's sad, there's upset. That's sad, upset, doesn't really feel much about life, that's just existing. How do you think their emotions gonna be? And as you're watching this through the camera, you're probably like, well, they're probably kind of like closed off. They're probably not, they're looking down. Their body language is very close. There's not a lot of energy. And look, we could be total strangers and you could still exactly say the same thing about the person on the other side of the door that I just explained, right? Now, like I said, on the other hand, You have someone that's excited about life, that loves life, that can't wait to attack the world with great purpose, good energy, being kind to people, that loves himself, loves other people, and gives the chance of love every single time. Like, hey, when things fall, you know what? It's there's still always a better chance, because why? I have another day. How do you think that person's gonna respond, or how they're gonna act physiologically? How they're gonna move? Are they gonna be closed off, or are they gonna be more big, more wide, more open, happy, excited, smiling? What do you think, right? So, yes, on a whiteboard. Yes, and so I don't forget and plan something else. The reaction I get is, oh, well, I guess I'll do my own thing, or a negative reaction when I have plans made with friends or coworkers. What are the type of negative reactions? So suppose one of you are spontaneous. How would it work? What is the balance? Well, being spontaneous, you just have to see on whether or not that person's going to be like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. Or if that person's like, no, I love plans, and I need to know, like, there are certain people out there that needs, like, I need a plan because I need to know exactly what I'm doing every single day. Or there's someone that's like, you know what, just go with the flow. Hey, we got some time right now. Do you want to go to blah, 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 blah? I know it's not on your plan. I know it's not on your schedule or something. So, that's why there's certain things that, hey, maybe that person's excited to do. So you just got to find a healthy balance. Now, if that's someone that's like, I don't like it when you surprise me with different things, especially when it's not planned, that person's probably not meant for you. Because if you're very spontaneous and you like to do things differently, and that person's like, no, I need to know every single hour of the day, or at least every 2-3 hours of the day, then it's not going to be very energizing for yourself to be with that person. And the same thing goes. It's like, would you want to be with someone if you want kids, but that person doesn't? But you're like, no, I'm gonna change that person's mind. They're gonna want kids after they see with me. After they get with me, they're gonna want some kids, right? It's like, well, and then you get upset when that person says, well, I don't want kids, and you're like, well, I wanted it, but that person told you I didn't want kids, and yet you still went and stayed. So that's why it's very important to understand what are your goals and values in life. Because if you have your understanding your goals and your values, it's like, well, what is your goal? Well, my goal is to have a family. Well, my goal is to also have a family. Okay, that works. That kind of checks off. It's good. You're thinking about it. Start giving me cold shoulders. Like he has attitude. Starts giving me a cold shoulder. I'm also spontaneous too. Look, love is playful and fun. Love is playful and fun. Like, I think the other day, or at least yesterday when I was doing another live somewhere else, there's a husband and wife, and the wife was like, she was concerned. She was just holding his phone. She was like, who's jumper cables? He was like, oh, why? He was like, she's concerned. She was like, she thought husband might be cheating or doing something right behind her back. Who's jumper cables? He's like, that's you. And she started smiling. She was like, why is my name Jumper Cables? Because he was like, because you always be starting shit. And she, like, love is playful and fun. And that's how you preserve that relationship. That's how you make a relationship flourish. It's keeping a little spicy, with a sprinkle of whatever you like. Who's Jumper Cable? Imagine you found, like, your boyfriend, your husband's phone, and it was like Jumper Cables. You call him Screwdriver. Why? Right? Crazy part is I have been the same way since we started dating and meeting up. Yeah, so, I gave that example of, like, people giving cold shoulders, not wanting to talk to you. I've explained it. I'll say it again for you, Bree. It's like that person that's giving you a cold shoulder, stonewalling you, don't want to talk to you because they're mad. To me, that's mental and emotional abuse. It's mental and emotional abuse. And the reason why I say that is because it's like, well, this person now feels like they're gonna punish you, that's not loving. There's no communication in that, being cold. It's like, well, I'm gonna punish you right now because you pissed me off. You made me mad, and I'm gonna punish you. Days go by, maybe weeks, I don't know. And then when that person feels like, oh, I think this person uh, deserves my time and energy now. Now, after I feel like I punished this person enough, then I will talk to you. That is not something I will ever sign up for. I would never sign up for something like that. And I will lay it out. If you do it once, I'm going to lay it out. Now, is that a deal breaker? It could be. Now, a deal breaker for me is someone that is promiscuous, that's lying, cheating. Like, one shot, you out. Like, you cheated, that's it, you're gone. Now, if you're like being cold and you don't want to talk, absolutely, I understand that. That's fine. You're in that feels right now. That's totally understandable. If you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. But now I'm gonna pass the ball basically to you and be like, I understand you don't want to talk right now and you're upset of what I did, and that's okay. And when you're ready, talk to me. And then if, like I said, if they continue to drag that along and if they do it again, like, look, I'm looking for a happy, healthy, loving relationship. This is not love. This is abuse, and I'm not signing up for this bullshit. I'm out. I'm not gonna stay in this because it's not what. And that's knowing your goals and values. That's what it is. He came over. I need a screwdriver to put my. He came over and I needed a screwdriver to put my screws into my legs for my TV. Is it a TV? Is it a TV, Bree? Everybody in here is not thinking television, okay? We're not thinking Netflix. They might think of and chill. Okay, all right. Hey, you set it up, not me, okay? Now, I hope that kind of clarifies a lot of things, okay? Let me kind of briefly kind of gloss over the summary here, all right? So, intro. For most people, falling in love usually seems to just happen. It feels like everything falls into place at the right time. Most would even say that I wasn't even looking for love. Mitchell. But for many others, staying in love or preserving that quote unquote head over heels in love type of experience, it requires work. It requires commitment, understanding each other's needs, understanding each other's wants. Slide number 2, abuse and how to respond. Relationship abuse happens to 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men. When your partner projects an unreasonable expectation, you must do the following. It's not very loving when you yell at me. It's not very loving when you give me cold shoulders. In this case, Bree. It's not very loving when you give me a cold shoulder, right? And it's not that I want to do this basically to you, right? Oh, it's not like it's not that I don't want to go on a date, or I'm sorry that I made a mistake and I forgot to write on the chalkboard or the whiteboard. But I'll do my best to remember for next time. And please don't yell at me. Please don't give me the cold shoulder. Like, it's not very loving when you do things like that. And if you continue to do that, and it's not an ultimatum, but kind of is. It's like, but if you continue to do that, like, it's not, I don't want to be in an unhealthy, unhappy relationship. That's not what I signed up for. I signed up to be in a happy, healthy relationship. Relationship needs compromises. Relationship needs commitment. It needs communication. And right now, we're not really communicating right now. And I want it to work. And that's why I'm letting you know. I want things to work. That is how you set and enforce healthy boundaries. And if you continue to do that, I'm not going to stay in this. Especially when I'm not doing anything wrong. I am not going to initiate going on a date when you should be chasing me. I shouldn't have to ask for you to take me out. Yeah. So, two biggest reason why. So these are things that you should know as a man, right? It's knowing that you have to date and court your lady. That's what you must do. If you don't, eventually another man will. Number two is you have to make sure she feels heard. You got to make sure she feels understood. If she feels heard and understood and you're dating and courting her, you're doing everything playful and fun, and that's loving, and you're not being possessive, and you're just loving her, allowing her to come and go as she pleases, setting and enforcing healthy boundaries, why the hell would she want to lose you as a great man? She is not going to want to lose you. She's going to want your attention all the time. Now, if you start slacking off, it doesn't matter if you've done it for 10 years and then on the 10 and a half months, you stop doing it. Well, guess what? It's still going to happen. So yeah, as a man, you got to be consistent. Can you kind of taper off a little bit? Sure. But then you got to pick yourself back up. That's what you have to do. And if you don't, like I said, another man will come in and take your woman away from you eventually. Okay? So, prevention and how to love. Romantic relationship requires quality time and attention. Attention to yourself and to your significant other. Love is giving. Love is allowing them to come and go as they please, and it's never forceful. Understanding attraction. Men who understands women, you don't argue with them. You could always have a disagreement. You don't have to agree with her all the time, but you just don't argue. Look, if I started yelling and screaming at my girl just because she did this or she did that, and it's like, yo, I'm losing my shit, and that's not what a masculine man does. And so, like I said, when I did it maybe a few weeks to a month ago, I'm not exactly proud of that. I lost my shit. I really did, and it was not pleasant. It wasn't. I was like, damn. I look. That was freaking embarrassing, Mitchell. Like, why? And whatever's done is done. I can't change the fact that I lost my shit. But I was like, well, learn better, be better, Mitchell. Be better. And that's the type of standard I put for myself. Now, are other people gonna do that? I don't know. I don't know who they are. I can't put on that. But what I can control is my own emotions, and I did lose it. And when I lost it, I wasn't happy. But I was like, well, I'm human. I make mistakes, and that's okay. Even the best of the best, they will still make mistakes, and that's okay. It's about learning from them. That's what makes you become better. Okay, so that's what it was, and it happened to me. So although this whole feel better, like yelling, screaming, like when that happened, I lost my shit. I felt better. I realized I was like, nothing was solved. If anything, like I could have got other people endangered because of my emotions, and that's not safe. How do I expect to lead as an example if I lose my shit? And granted that I don't always lose my shit, but I was like, Mitchell, you need to be better than that. And I was like, damn it. I had to call myself out. That's the embarrassing part. I'm like, okay, all right, just calm down, Mitchell. Just calm down. And then the great thing was, what the beauty of what happened afterward was, I caught it, I recentered myself, and I apologized. I was like, I'm sorry, to the people. I was like, look, I'm sorry that I acted like that. That's not who I am. Well, a part of it is who I am because it came out, but it's like I need to be better. I need to be better. Some people have low self-esteem, especially females, when they have been hurt so many times. There was a quote by Maya Angelou, and I said that yesterday. I forgot what it was. Let me search for it, okay? Give me a second. Okay. The quote says, have enough courage to trust love one more time and always one more time, by Maya Angelou. Have enough courage to trust love. So love is trusting yourself so that you could trust that you could love another person again. And but and when you have low self-esteem, you have to find a way to pick yourself back up. Yeah, you start being cold-hearted. So it's not being too extreme on one spectrum. Too extreme. Like, I've been hurt, I've been burned before. It stings. I don't want to do that no more. I don't want to be hurt anymore. Well, doors that keep out disappointment also keeps out happiness. So it's believing in yourself enough, working towards that, vetting properly, vetting properly the right person in your life. Is this person who this person said he was? Is he consistent to who he says he was? Is he still like that till this day? What's going on, right? Asking yourself questions. And when you start believing yourself, you're like, well, I vetted properly. Or maybe you didn't. And you're like, okay, that's fine. I think I made a mistake. This person is not the right person for me. I thought this person was, but this person's not the right person. This person keeps losing his shit. And it's not making me feel safe and comfortable right now. So either I stay in this relationship, or I continue to feel like I'm settling, or I leave and I believe in myself enough that I could find a right person in my life, or I'm going to attract the right person in my life. And maybe it's not right now. Maybe it's going to be X amount of years, X amount of months, whatever it may be. But I know that I'm not just going to sit around and wait for that right person to come along. I'm going to start becoming that person that I want to attract. Someone that's calm, that's collected, that's not going to lose their shit. And maybe I have low self-esteem right now. And so if I have low self-esteem, why do I have low self-esteem? What's the story that's constantly playing in my head saying that I'm not good enough? Because our biggest fears two biggest fears as human is fear that we're not going to be loved, and fear that we're not going to be good enough or adequate enough for whatever you want to do. So if you could overcome those two biggest things, your self-esteem is going to be raised. You're going to be like, well, look, if I feel like I'm not going to be loved, why? Because I can't even love myself. I'm always bitter. I'm always upset. I'm always angry about the world. Well, how do I start loving again? And then act accordingly to those type of values that you believe in. And then you're like, well, how come I'm not good enough? Well, I don't think I'm good enough because maybe when I was growing up, my family always brought me down, and I started believing in that. And well, what if I start believing that I am good enough, and that I continue to do better and continue to do what I love, to be great at it, and then become exceptional at it. And then once I am better, I feel like, damn, I can make it different. And like an example was when I started dancing, I didn't have a single person teaching me how to dance. I didn't know how to dance. I was like, well, I'm just going to move my feet because it's fun, because I like it, because it's good exercise. Two, it's fun for me, and it's exciting, and it's a challenge. So I could be like, damn, I could learn something, right? Be creative and things like that. And from then on, I just continued dancing ever since I was like, I think 14, 15, somewhere in my teens, 14 to 16, somewhere around that age. I just kept dancing. And till this day, I'm still dancing. It's been almost 20 years, if not more, right? About 20 years, if not more. And I still do it. Why? Because whatever I had once when I was a teen, all the way to now, I still love it. I still love doing it. And I protect it. I don't let nobody try to take that away from me. If someone tells me, Mitchell, you're not good enough, I'm like, well, I would love to see you dance. Or you're not as good as, I don't know, Michael Jackson. I'm like, I know that. I know Michael Jackson's a lot better than me. And he still will always be better than me. But who knows? Who knows? And it's not letting their projection of what they say to me. I'm not going to allow that into my mind and into my heart. I'm not going to allow that, because that one quote with Jim Rohn, every day stand guard at the door of your mind. Like you protect that. You protect that with all you got, because if they get into your mind, it's gonna get to your emotions, it's gonna ruin you. So, but if you do enough to be competent and confident enough, no other people is gonna be like, oh, you like, if someone tell me, Mitchell, you don't know shit about relationship right now. Like, who are you to be a relationship coach, huh? Are you married? Where's your certificate? I'm like, I'm not married. I don't have a certificate. But please tell me where I went wrong. Tell me where I went wrong. And because I love a challenge, I'm like, absolutely. Let me know why I did wrong. Let me know where I go wrong. And if I believe that what you said to me, and I'm like, oh shit, you gave me a different perspective. I'm like, maybe I was wrong this whole entire time. Let me readjust. Then I'm gonna become better. So it's like, okay, you're pointing out, Mitchell, this is your downfall. Well, let me readjust. Mitchell, FYI, are you a psychotherapist or relationship therapy? So I'm a relationship coach, but my main focus is teaching you as a person to be self-reliant. That's my main goal. Because if you're self-reliant to yourself, and it's not to say that, oh, I don't need nobody in my life. Like, I love to have a great person in my life. That's the mentality. Like, I love a great person in my life. And if you don't have somebody right now, you're like, well, I love a great person in my life, but that person right now isn't here yet. But knowing that if I continue to become better and I continue to work on myself, yes, the amount of people that I am going to be attracted to would be less. Why? Because you're going to be working more. And the more you work on yourself, the quicker you're going to spot out different red flags. And when you start working on that, guess what? You become better. You only want to attract right and great people in your life. So you have this much room to allow great people in your life. And there's not a lot of great people. But if you want your life to be exceptional, right? To have an extraordinary life, this is what you have to do in order to work and become the version that you want to be, not who you think you are. Because a lot of people think a lot, but they don't actually do anything to become better. Because like I said, when they think about it, they talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, this is what, man, people that talk a lot, that don't do a lot of action, it's all fluff. It's like, what do you actually do to make yourself better? Do you hear that saying, the law of attraction? Absolutely. The law of attraction. You are who you attract. So if I'm always bitter and upset about the world, like, what do you think that's going to cause other people? Do you think I'm going to grab a lot of people in my life? If 9 out of 10 times I'm always bitter and upset, but the one time that you meet me, and I'm joyful, and I'm excited, I'm like, hey, what's up? And then once you get to know me a little bit more, what happens to the other 9 out of 10 times? It's gonna start revealing. Like, Bree, you might not know me physically, okay? You never met me, but you've seen the type of Instagram lives way back, years back during the pandemic era, right? All the advice that I've ever given is pretty much the same. It's just said differently with a little, a little splash of this, a little splash of that, right? It's like, it's the same thing. Now, you could argue that, hey, Mitchell, like, people only present who they are, the best version of themselves in front of the camera. That's who it is. But now, then it kind of boils down to, well, like the people that really know me, that's around me most of the times, right? And it's like, well, until that moment, you can't really put a solid thing. But let's put it like this. Most people that just knew me on the internet, they were like, yeah, I feel cool around you. Like, I feel safe. Like, you're fun, you're like this. And I'm not trying to like over glorify myself, but that's what they have told me. They're like, yeah, I feel like I could tell you a lot of things, Mitchell. It's like, yeah, it's because you can. And it's not going to go anywhere. I'm here to help you. I want you to be better, because you becoming better is going to make everyone's lives a lot better. The people around you is going to feel better. So it really depends on what you want. Everyone makes a difference in life. Everybody makes a difference in life. It's what type of difference you're going to make that's going to make a difference. Are you going to build people up, or are you going to kick them down? Or are you going to break them down? Like, what are you doing? Most people They rely on misery to feel good about themselves. I don't want that. Success is never crowded along the extra mile. Never crowded. It just most people kind of they stop where they're at. So whatever you focus on expands. It's comfortable at the to the point that me in person and finally SF automatic. Oh yeah, JR. I miss JR. What the fuck are you, man? He's been doing his own thing for a minute, and you know, hope he's doing well. I hope he's doing well. But yeah, I do. Last time we ate, we that was a couple months ago, but very chill guy, yeah. But I'm glad you met him. Very chill guy, very happy, always excited, right? So, but then again, you know, people they move, right? They do things differently, and that's okay because the right people will always come back into your life. This is the first time I come across you. I was just sliding on top. Absolutely, that's fine. And I'm glad you stayed. And I, you know, every now and then I get some repeated people, and more often than not, I get a lot of new people. And when I do get new people, my hope is to get a different perspective, to give them like Miss Baker, a different perspective, so that you can start to love yourself again. So that you can start to see a beauty in life, so that you could have more hope instead of feeling like, damn, I'm always being shut down by the people around me, saying that I'm not good enough, that I'm not this, and then I'm not that. It's like, I don't need type of people that brings me down. I need supportive people. And if you're not gonna support me, that's okay. You could sit on the sidelines, or if you kind of violate my sanity too much, you're not going to be a part of my life. That's it. 2, he has a beautiful smile and also personality. Yeah, he's very outgoing. He could go up to anybody. I feel like I can't just go up to anybody and be like, hey, I'm getting better at it, but I feel like he's Mr. I don't give a, I don't give a fuck. So, yeah. But anyways, that is my show. I do this every I still say Tuesday. I used to do it Tuesday. Every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'm working on, so I'm thinking about doing a Sunday as well, but only half. So I'm gonna redo for now because of time and constrictions and stuff. And I want to start picking out different episodes that I've done and just cut it in half and maybe do about 30 minutes. Usually it's an hour. So I do about 30 minutes, about 2 slides, and I'm going to condense it into, so that I will do 2 lives. Give eye covering good about time. Yeah, so condense the time, do about 2 slides, and then just talk about the most important parts of it. And at least I could recap on the episodes that I've done in the past, so that I know exactly, like, because not everybody has an hour. I get it. And so for you guys to even be here this long, I so many times I'm like, that's a long time. You could, right now, this whole entire time, you could have watched half of Titanic. You could have watched half of Titanic, okay? Assuming that's your favorite movie. You could have watched half of that, but you watched a whole of this. So thank you. All right. So that being said, I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to talk about a topic. I haven't thought about it yet, but I will pick one. Or if you like something and you want me to repeat it and talk about it again, absolutely. Let me know. Follow my Instagram, because that's the easiest way to let me know, like, some questions that you have concerns about, or if you want me to redo a topic or something like that. So Instagram, I also have a TikTok. I do lives on that 1 hour before YouTube lives. This Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So Eastern time, it will be 8 o'clock for you. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Yeah, just so that, I save time. I get to basically, I'm repurposing a video through live. And then, yeah, I gotta start doing like short form content. 4 or 5 minutes, 5 tips on how to not be a piece of shit. That's 5 tips on how to not be a piece of shit. Tip number 1. All right, go exercise. Stop eating like shit. Where am I located? West Coast. Sounds good to me. All right, Bree. Agree. Any last questions before I go? Last questions. And if you do find this video content of value, share it with your friends. Share it with the people that you love or you care about. Because I'm pretty sure somewhere out there, someone's going to want to improve a certain area of their life. And if you really want to thank me, that is how you do it. That is how you do it. Also, I have like PayPal links, Venmos, things like that. But I do this so that West Coast, where Cali, SF to be specific, NorCal. It's kind of rain. Oh, it's a little sunny. It was raining outside earlier, so. 5 o'clock my time tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time. All right. Okay. I think that's it. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I'm here past my time, but thank you for the time. I really appreciate it. And you know, you can always, I need to send this to my sister. Yeah, have your sister come on by. And if you want to ever watch like other content, I dance and I play video games. So those are my favorite pastimes, okay? Dancing, video games, and coaching and things like that. All right, I catch you on the next live. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m., okay? Who is it push? Is it push? A push over. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you guys.